Hi, my name is Simon, and I welcome you to the presentation on the human digestive system and the key dietary requirements for good nutrition. Today, I will cover the structure and functions of the alimentary canal, explain how digestion works, and explore the components of a balanced diet, and also the consequences of dietary imbalance. This work aligns with the current scientific dietary recommendation as well. We begin. This is the overview of a full digestive system labeled from the mouth to the anus. The human digestive system is responsible for breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and removal of toxins and waste from the body. The key structure within the system is the alimentary canal, a continuous muscular tube that extends from the mouth to the anus. Digestion occurs both mechanically and chemically through this canal. Now we come to the anatomical structure of the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal includes the mouth, the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, large intestines, rectum, and the anus. Each section has a specific role to play in absorption and removal of waste. I take that again. Each section has a specific role in processing food, absorbing nutrients, and removal of waste from the body. Now we go to the functions of each part of the alimentary canal, which mechanical digestion begins starting from the mouth through chewing and continue to the stomach through chowning. Chemical digestion starts with saliva and continues with gastric juice and enzymes through a digestive tract. The small intestines absorb nutrients and the large intestines absorbs water, which forms feces. And during this process, where each part of the alimentary canal helps in digestion, there are enzyme reactions on each food that enters the stomach. Enzyme speeds up the breakdown of food. Each enzyme has a specific shape that fits the substrate, like a key in a lock. So amylase breaks down carbohydrates, which we have here, and also protease digest proteins, which we have here, into amino acids, and then lipase digest fatty acids, which we have here as well. Now we come to the histology of the stomach, where the food is stored and gastric juice is produced. The human stomach is made up of 4 layers, which we have the mucosa, the submucosa, the muscularis externa, and the serosa. The stomach has 4 layers: mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, and serosa. The mucosa contains gastric pits and glands that releases hydrochloric acid and enzymes like pepsin to help digest food in the stomach. And now we come to the duodenum. There's a full label diagram of the duodenum. The duodenum has a circular fold called placia circularis. The mucosa is lined with villi and microvilli, which increase surface areas for absorption. Glands releases mucus and enzymes to get further digestion from the stomach. Now we come to the full label diagram of ileum. Ileum also has villi for absorption and contains Prius patches, which are lymphoids. Lymphoids are tissue that helps to defend against pathogens. It is where absorption of single sugar, fatty acid, and amino acid are finalized. And now we come to the full diagram of a gallbladder and the bile duct. So we have the gallbladder and the bile duct, and we have the bile inside, and this is the liver. The liver produces bile, which emulsify fat to help digestion. Bile is stored in the gallbladder and releases into the small intestines. The liver also detoxifies blood, stores glucose, and helps regulate metabolism. And now we move away from the diagrams to balanced diet. So here we have balanced diet, which each food samples or food sources and where or what nutrients they produces. So when we take carbohydrate, for instance, carbohydrates provide primary source of energy by being broken down into glucose for cellular respiration. And examples of food where we can get carbohydrate from are bread and rice. Proteins as well, which is good for the body. Proteins build and repair tissues, form enzymes and hormones, and can serve as energy source if needed. An example is chicken and beans, which we have animal protein and plant protein. Now we come to fat. Fats provide a long-term energy storage, helps with the insulation and temperature regulation, assist in absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, supports cell membranes and nerves. An example of where you can get fat is olive oil and nuts. Now we come to fiber. Fiber is very essential when it comes to the stomach and help prevent constipation. If you take in fiber, it helps support easy bowel movement. It helps support easy bowel movement. Now we come to an example of where we can get fibrous food or fruits are vegetables and whole wheat. And most of the time, some vegetables contains roughage, which also helps in avoiding constipation. Now we come to vitamins. Vitamins support various biochemical processing, including immutation, vision, bone health, and energy metabolism. Example, carrots, which produces vitamin A, and then citric fruits, which produces vitamin C, like orange and the rest. We come to minerals. Minerals are fluid, build up strong bones and teeth, and also assist the nerves and muscular functions. Example of where we can get minerals is milk and spinach, where milk is good with calcium and spinach is good with iron. Now we come to water. Water is for all bodily functions, transport nutrients and waste, regulates body temperature, and keeps tissue moist. For example, drinking water and watermelon. Now we come to the effect when you don't have all these nutrition we spoke about. So effect of dietary imbalance. Dietary imbalance can cause undernutrition or overnutrition. Deficiencies lead to like diseases. So we have some of the deficiencies here, which lack of vitamin, iron will make you tired and pale skin, calcium, weak bones and muscles, vitamin D, bone pain and weak muscles, vitamin A, poor vision, vitamin B12, tiredness and nerve problems, vitamin C, bleeding gums and slow healing, iodine, goiter or swollen neck, magnesium, we have muscle cramps and tiredness, and water is thirsty, dizziness and mouth dry. Overnutrition may also lead to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases. Now, we come to the current dietary requirements from the World Health Organization and the NHS. So now, from the World Health Organization, it says eat variety of fruits and vegetables and legumes and whole wheats, which is good for the body. It says keeps the total fat intake to 30%, and it goes replace saturated and then trans fat with unsaturated fat. It says limit sugar less than 10% daily energy for daily energy. And it says promote exclusive breastfeeding when you give birth to a child. And it says reduce salt intake under 5 grams per day. And it says ensure adequate intake of nutrition, which is iron, vitamins, and the rest. Use supplements if necessary. So in case if you're not getting any of these nutrition, you can take supplements which will replace those nutrients you need in the food, some of the foods. Yeah. And then we come to the NHS Eat Well guidance. It's the same thing as the World Health Organization. It clearly states that drink water 6 cups in a day, eat food, read food labels for healthier choice, stay active in maintaining health weight, eat meals on a whole, base meals on whole grain, starchy and carbohydrates. And then it says eat at least 5 portions of fruit and vegetables daily. And now we come to some of the myth and misinformation that people have in their mind relation with food and some nutrients and health wise. So some common myths that we do have is myth includes carrot helps you to see in the dark, which is a myth from way back World War II. And whilst carrots contains vitamin A for a good vision, they don't improve night vision, but rather helps you see clearly. I remember there was a book that we do have way back in our school, which a young boy used to eat carrot and his eyes was turning yellow and he could be seeing skeletons, which we all had those perceptions that during our childhood, when you start eating carrots a lot, you start seeing people through their skeleton. That was a myth and a bit of misinformation which we have way back then. Yeah. Another is spinach, which is high of iron, and it contains oxalic acid, which reduces iron absorption. So science helps us to clarify all these misunderstandings that we do have. Science prove all these myths, science prove all this misinformation wrong, and wants us to be in a clear path when we are having a good nutrition for a good health. And now we come to the conclusion of our presentation. So today we were able to cover the structure and functions of the digestive system, organs of the alimentary canal, and how food moves through the body. We also managed to go through the enzymatic digestion and absorption, the role of enzyme breaking down food, and how nutrition are absorbed. And we also went to balanced diet essentials, which we mentioned the 7 keys and the roles that they play in maintaining health. Risk of dietary imbalance, effects of nutrition deficiencies, and overnutrition on the body. And we also went to the NHS and the World Health Organization guidelines based on the recommendations to prevent diseases and promote well-being of human living. And with this presentation, based on our work handout, I was able to come out with a reference which I started in the Harvard referencing to ensure the presentation is accurate and based on up-to-date science evidence. Thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you very much for your time.